Well, and that's where LO code comes from. We feel like we've kind of cracked the code. We came into this new industry we had no knowledge of. We spent a lot of money. We made a lot of mistakes, failed our asses off. We learned and we pivoted and we became top 1% producers.
Welcome to the LO Code Podcast, where we talk about everything from marketing to just general loan bullshit. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first LO Code Podcast. We're going to be talking everything from marketing to sales to just general loan stuff to mental health. I mean, we're just going to go down the gamut, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
It's just going to be everything that comes to mind that we feel can help you grow your business, get in the right mindset, whatever it takes to succeed, especially in the market that we're in right now.
Yeah. This is going to be like our no bullshit podcast. Like we want it to be raw, real, everything that we're all actually going through.
She doesn't
He
like
just
the mic
adjusted
close
my
to her.
mic like up into my face.
All right, so let's get into what we're going to be talking about today. Jessica, what do you want to discuss?
Well, I thought first episode, introduction.
Mhm.
I think that because we have a certain presence online that people really don't know who we are or where we came from, how we even got started. Most people don't know that we are newish, to the industry, and that I don't know, we just did all of it on social media.
Yeah, exactly. Well, where do you want to start? Like, how far back do we go?
Well, oh my gosh. So I guess from the beginning of us, that kind of starts our journey-ish.
Yeah, so we met in college over 17 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, well, it'll be 18 years in
18 years in
October. So we've been together a long time. We haven't killed each other yet.
Almost.
Yeah, and so kids, then we opened a gym.
Yeah. So first, I mean, like, if you want to start back when we met, like a lot of people don't know that we put ourselves through college.
Yep.
Rode the struggle bus. I was server.
Both our dads, we grew up half-time in trailers.
Yeah. Didn't have any money, had enough growing up, and that's about it. You did track.
Yep, I did
At
track at Arizona
ASU.
State.
And you were at the same time as doing track, you were delivering pizzas and you were
Valet.
a
So I parked
valet.
cars, so I did both. And then
So hustling
full-time school,
away.
full-time track. I was the only kid on the track team that had a job, and I had two.
Yes. Yep. And
Because we had to make it work.
yeah, but I think if you go to the beginning of what prompted all of this,
Mhm.
it's, our parents didn't really even help us through college. Get off my mic.
You gotta eat the mic.
I'm so close to it.
Do you want to sound majestic?
I am majestic.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, now you got me all off topic because you're talking about my mic.
Yeah, so we were putting ourselves through college. While you were serving.
Yep. I was a waitress and
Then you
moved all over the place. I worked in aviation. I was a dispatcher at
you were going to do a
Falcon.
pilot's license, and
Yeah, I
thankfully you
did.
did not, because that was a no.
Oh my
that was
gosh,
dead
I'm
end
so glad I
world right
didn't
now.
do that.
Then you got into physical therapy.
Yep, I was a physical therapy assistant. My degree at ASU was in exercise science, and you had yours. I don't even know.
Yeah, I
what the
did.
hell
I
your
did
degree
justice studies and sociology because I was going to be an engineer major, but I couldn't pass Calc 2. And I said, "What's the easiest degree I could do?" And you said it was bullshit.
It was
that
bullshit.
I never went to class and I never studied, and I got straight A's.
Okay, but I helped you on your homework there, and that was a bullshit degree.
Oh, on the last
over
class.
mine.
Yeah.
Over my degree.
The last
Mine was hard.
The last class, it was online. I forgot about it, and we had one weekend to do a full semester's worth of work. And
Yeah.
you, my brother, my sister, we all chipped in so that I could graduate.
Don't say that to too many people; they'll take your degree back.
And they can't.
What? And then you
Oh,
got
and then
your MBA.
Yeah, I did MBA, did night school to do MBA. That was a waste.
University of Phoenix. So you worked at University of
Yes.
Phoenix,
You
and
know-
they paid for the degree.
Yes. In the beginning, I loved it because it was like hands-on. People that actually worked in it. It was all about projects and like real world stuff. And then they switched it like, hey, it's not accredited unless you do ABCDE testing. So it's like, do these standardized testing. They ruined it. So I ended up just playing online poker for the last, 2/3 of the degree.
Yes, I remember that. That's when I had Titan. So we had our first baby during that time.
Yep.
And right after you graduated, we bought our first house.
Yep.
And so you're still working at University of Phoenix and you were training on the side because you had worked at Lifetime as a personal trainer before you went to get your MBA,
And that's
before
when I
University of
first found
Phoenix.
out that I was 100% unemployable.
True. It's true. You're the
But
worst.
then I went on to University of Phoenix, right?
Yes. Then you went on to University of Phoenix
And then
because
really
because
found
they
out,
were going to be paying for your degree.
right? And then really found out I just had to just get through it because I wanted that degree.
And so I'm not an entrepreneur at all. Like at my heart, that it scares the hell out of me. That's not my jam. I grew up with you have your job, you work for your hourly pay, you shut the hell up and you collect your check and you do that until you die.
And so I was getting paid like 35,000 a year, which was like barely getting us by.
Yeah.
And I took a long vacation because I saved up all my vacation, and then I told her I'm not going back.
At Titan's first birthday party with the entire family there.
I said I'm going full time with the gym, and she was like, what?" I
We
was
had
like,
just bought the house a few
"Oh,
months earlier and a new car.
I read 4 Hour Work Week, and
Oh,
then
jeez.
opened up a business that was complete opposite. That was work 12 hours a day
For years.
instead of 4 hours a week.
So we had the gym for 8 years.
And that's why I don't like to work as much now because I grinded myself to the bone
It
for
was a lot.
a
Well,
decade.
it was a lot of years. And so I would work in the morning so that we didn't have to put the boys in daycare. I would work in the morning from 5 o'clock to about 8 or 9, and then come home and then we would switch.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way we didn't have to pay for childcare because we were broke, because you're not going to be rich owning a small personal training studio where
Yeah.
you do all
Well,
the work by yourself.
so what happened was I was renting out of a place,
Yes.
and then I was like, too big for my britches. I got to do my own thing. So I hired a business coach. He flew out. We signed a lease for a spot across town, so it was 15 minutes,
Oh, and this
20 minutes
was
away.
10 days after I had our second baby, by the way.
I always do
10
it around then.
days later.
I lose my mind around the kids. So I signed a lease, and we're like, okay. And then we open it up, and lo and behold, it was like, gosh, did 50% of people didn't follow, and
It
then
was really far away, though. It was
50
10 plus miles from the other
right.
studio.
And the other studio was right off the freeway. It was so convenient for people, and I didn't understand these things back then.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 3 to 6 months, I think 75% of the 50% quit. So I was down to like 25% of what I originally had. And then I had all this overhead. And because whereas before you were paying a percentage of what you make, now it's like, this is your overhead.
Yeah.
And I remember like freaking out, like, it's over. Like sometimes I would just sit there and cry at the gym.
Well, and that's when I started training, because you were either working all the time or you had hired somebody and they weren't working out. So then that's when I took over the mornings. Wasn't too long after you switched locations.
Yeah,
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like my degree was in
I thought it was a little later than that.
no.
No.
Well,
Well,
yeah, my degree was in exercise, but I was in physical therapy, not personal training. It's a totally different dynamic. So that
and
was
we
I
can
cried
get
a lot.
back to that in a second, but I remember I was like, I have to figure something out. And during that time, the hot thing was Facebook. So
Yeah.
I had no money, but I still just ponied up, used a credit card, hired some coaches, and that's when I started doing video.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
when I
they were
started.
so bad, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you started.
And I started working Facebook hard. I started doing Facebook ads.
Oh my gosh, remember that photo session that you did before your competition?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Was it good? It was good, right?
Like these little black spandex shorts. I don't know. That just popped into
Don't
my
ask
head.
for those. Don't. They're gone somewhere.
They're on Facebook.
No, they better not be.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Oh God.
I think
I
they
thought I
popped up
was
in the archives
hot
not
shit
too
back
long
then.
ago.
So yeah, so we turned it around.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, you came on, and then I've always been about efficiency. So I did so much studying. I bought so many. I've always just like, I want to fast track it. So I've always bought other people's stuff to learn
Yes.
faster. And so we learned a system of training that was able to train people more efficiently, safer, better results, less time for them, less time for us, less money for them because it was all group training, and made it our own. Like we took
Yeah.
the base model and then we
Essentially, I think it's like F45 now. F45 is like the new thing, but essentially, from what I can tell, that is what we were doing back then.
We were like one of the
Yeah,
first.
we were one of
So
the
we
first.
learned it from the guys that were the first.
Yep.
And then we were like right after them because they were selling their concept. And they were, of course, everyone was like out of California. That's where all this stuff like starts.
Yeah, of course.
And so we learn it. And then, of course, I was like, we're outgrowing this place. So what I,
Oh God, worst mistake
now
ever.
that I learned is do not move until you have so much surplus of capital and you're busting at the seams. We were busy, but I wouldn't say like we had every hour stacked, every like it was just it
Yeah.
was getting uncomfortable to be there all day. For people that were there,
It was
they
like a
were
little dungeon
mild.
for us, I think,
It
to
was
be
a
there
dun
all day.
yes. It
For
had
us
low
to be there all
ceilings,
day, but
black
for clients,
ceilings,
it wasn't
black
as big of a deal.
floors,
Yeah.
and it was like you were in a dungeon. And I mean, some people it was a little annoying to them that was like that tight of a space, but they were fine.
Yeah.
We could have just kept going. But of course, me being me, I wanted to expand so that we moved this time a mile down the road.
Yes.
So it wasn't inconvenient. I don't think we lost anybody with that move.
No. In fact, one of the really cool things was most of the clients actually helped us. They brought their own trucks. They grabbed the equipment and helped us move all of it. They helped us paint. Like it was really one of those
Oh,
amazing experiences where you're just so grateful.
going back to that, I just like to talk about like how the whole place started. We literally had nothing and no money. So I rented a U-Haul, got on eBay, no, not Craigslist back then,
Yeah.
and just drove around the whole like metro area for like 3 days, just picking up equipment like I could buy off people used
Yeah.
just to generate the gym.
We had nothing. I really don't know how we pulled it off.
I'm
Very.
very, I'm very, what do you say? Relentless.
You are
I will
relentless.
find a way. So we found a way, and then we acquired more stuff over time. We
Yeah.
had clients that could like weld, and so he built this huge rig for us that if you bought it, it was like 20 grand, and he
Hmm.
did it for us for like 3 grand.
Yeah.
Um, oh, we found that one like really nice free motion cable machine for 800
Oh, I
bucks,
wish we could have kept that.
and they're like 12 grand. But this
Yeah.
place was like, it's not the new one. It was like Scottsdale or something. They're like, it's not the new one. Just if you can just get it out of here, we'll give it to you for 800 bucks. I'm like, I will be there in 20 minutes. Yeah, so that's kind of how we did that. And yeah, we went to the gym. People were awesome. Like I love those people. I miss those times. I miss those people, that camaraderie, community. They helped us paint the
It was
gym.
it was
They
actually some of the best times of my life.
Oh
That
yeah.
we I mean, a lot of these people became such good friends that they were who we hung out with outside of the gym. Not only did we hang out in the gym, outside of the gym,
Yep.
we had barbecues and everybody was
It was
really like
almost
family.
like the mortgage community, like how people become friends, but you see each other multiple times a week.
Yeah.
It's not like you see each other at events. You see each other like all the
Yeah.
time.
It was
But
really
yeah, that
cool.
real tight knit um
Community.
community, yeah. Um Beginning was great, just started blowing up, but then like the overhead for that place was just so much more. So it was like
It was
we
really
needed more
crazy.
people and we had to just keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding. And we were able to make it work, but we were not willing to sacrifice our like philosophy of training people correctly to go like true boot
Yes.
camp
Yeah.
model,
Well,
like
at the time
CrossFit.
too, when we first started, CrossFit wasn't big. I don't even know if it existed it probably did in some spaces, but CrossFit wasn't a thing when we first started. And then all of a sudden, after we opened the big location, all of the gyms were losing people like crazy, and they all went
Mhm.
to Planet Fitness $10 a month.
Right. Well,
And so that became a really big, deterrent for
and one
us.
of the main reasons we weren't willing to sacrifice our models because over 10 years, we only had 3 people get hurt. One was a freak accident. A lady had like an already like torn Achilles.
Hmm.
So she did something and it popped. Another one was a guy was squatting and tried to turn around and talk to somebody for some reason with the bar on his back because he thought he could and then hurt his back. And then the third one was a guy was trying to sprint with a sled and then his calf like strained. So that's all we had in 3 years because of
Yep.
that training model. It was very safe.
Yep.
And we're like, we're not willing to sacrifice that. And we're like, we got to do something else.
Well, and so at that time, we had just found out that I was pregnant with our third. And we were doing very well for being gym owners, small business owners. We were actually doing very well. But
We would
at
have
the
had to
time,
change our whole model
we would have to change our whole model. We didn't
to keep
have,
up.
yeah, we didn't have health insurance. We
Yep.
weren't going to retire.
You have
Um,
to live there.
you have to live there. And Ryan and I barely ever saw each other because
Mhm.
I was there in the mornings, he was there afternoons, evenings.
Oh, the days. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
actually, I'm like, damn, that sounds so good. um, so that was really hard on our marriage as well. Not like working together 24/7 has been any better for it. but but at that time, you were getting burned out
Yep.
anyways.
It was 10 years in,
Everything was getting chaotic, with the
and we had multiple
competition.
successful friends that were like, "I know you love this, but it's time."
Yes, and they were actually starting to say that well over a year before then.
2
If
years.
we even moved to the bigger space,
Yeah.
had we only listened then.
Yeah. There
But
were
it
multiple
was a
people that said
passionate
you should
thing.
take these skills and apply it to
Yeah,
something else.
we loved it. It
We
was
loved
a
it.
passion project. It was, we're really good at coaching. We're passionate about coaching, helping people.
That's what
It
we're the
was,
best at is coaching.
yeah, it was very hard to give up. I think that closing the gym was probably the hardest time that we've ever had.
Yeah.
It was a really big kick to the crotch.
It was tough.
It was sad. It was really bad.
But one
Um,
of our clients, Scott Smith, he's amazing.
yeah.
He's now a mortgage broker.
Yep.
Glad we were able to bring to the dark side, Scott, if you're listening to this, because we started in retail.
Yep.
Actually, I should say the light side. You came from the dark side. Um, and he was like, he was bugging us for a while. Like, he wanted you to do it.
He wanted me to not even
Move to
necessarily be
mortgage.
a loan officer, but an LOA. He's like, with how detailed you are, you would be really good in this space. I think he wanted me to like be his assistant.
Yes.
So,
And
and I
then
would have been,
you told me about it, and I go, I was like, let me learn more. So I picked his brain about it for
yep,
about 30 minutes.
yep,
And then maybe within a day, I was already registered to start
yeah.
studying. That's the way I move.
That's the way Ryan does things.
And so I remember studying, and that test is bullshit. There's like so many. I haven't been in school for so long, and there were so many ways they were trying to trip you up and trick you. And I remember, like, at that time, I felt like my whole life was riding on passing this test. And I went in, and I remember like having panic attacks during the test because it was like,
You're always such a good test taker, though. It's such bullshit. I am so bad at tests, and you just
yeah, but
don't.
it
You
was
don't know anything, though.
it was
Like,
freaking me out. And I remember I had to get up and leave the test room 3 times, and I'm like, sorry, I'm like hypoglycemic or something. Like, do you have some food? No, I'm gluten intolerant. I can't eat that. And then she's like, I have some grapes. I'm like, yes, thank you. And so I'm like stealing this lady's grapes, walking around like outside, like breathing, and then finish it. And I'm just
yeah,
like, fuck. All right, hit it. And it's like 81. I'm like, yes.
yep,
Yeah. And
that,
then that's how mortgage started.
yeah.
Went to work with Scott. I sat in his office for 3 to 6 months. I can't remember.
It was a while. Yeah.
And he was great. He taught me all the basics about how to make your calls, how to speak to borrowers, how to structure the loans. I never really learned how to do income calculations.
Obviously.
But like knowing the programs, knowing how to fit the right programs for the right people and the scenarios, like that's what I really learned from him. The sales side of things, I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
And he was gracious enough to throw me a couple deals in the beginning, but we were 100% commission. There was no leads, there was no nothing. And so I had to go right back to grind mode. And we started where we left off with the gym. Facebook, social media, videos, and
It
they
was a
all
little
told me
slow. It was a little slow at
the
first.
first 6 months were scary.
It was
We
scary.
we were borrowing money from your dad just in case, so we didn't overdraft, waiting for commission
Yeah,
checks
it
to
was
come.
it was that tight that yeah, we'd look at the bank account. We're like, we can't eat. I'd go to the grocery store every day
Yep,
and get what was on sale on clearance, and that's what I was making for food.
yep,
And 3 babies, and it was really hard times.
it was. And
It was
then
rough.
we just kept going and just kept working. And before long, they moved me into my own office because I think we got up to a 500,000 a month in volume.
Oh, we were ballers. Yeah. Well, that was you. I wasn't there yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that was, like, my graduation gift to go out of his office and have my own office, and so that was pretty cool,
Mhm.
and then I learned right away, like, I just like the marketing. I don't want to do anything that involved the back end, and that just wasn't an option with that setup. So I had to do all the front end pre-qualification, income calculation, and then hand it off to the LOA. And it was just clogging my style. Like I just couldn't push. And so we had an opportunity to go to another place
Mhm.
and they said they had all that covered. They did
They did
not.
not.
They did not. No. And then I got enticed into the broker world.
So,
And
in between there though is when I
yes, you came
joined.
on.
So he was still over at retail, kind of riding the struggle bus with, just keeping things organized. There was a
Right.
lot going on and that wasn't your forte.
No.
And that's the stuff that I'm good at.
Sales and marketing
He's
as
good
well.
at sales and market, and that's where we always worked together well at the gym. I always ran the books and did all the numbers and stuff. So I said, "All right, I'm going to come on as your assistant and just help you out." I worked like 3 half days a week and put the baby in daycare.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
wasn't a lot at the beginning.
And so then I got like an offer I couldn't refuse for being a broker, but
Hmm.
even that guy promised way more than he could deliver.
Yeah.
But he was not at the company very long. The owner of the company, Andy Price, amazing. He said, "We'd love for you guys to stay."
Still working with Andy.
Still working with Andy's amazing. And so Jessica really stepped up because before that guy left, she got loaded up with 20 deals in a
20
month.
deals. Yeah.
And you've done like 5
At
half deals
that time, I was getting emails on your deals, just like watching what
organizing.
was happening, organizing, not even an LOA at that time. But I was kind of starting to train, and then somebody went out of town. They said, "Hey, can you help us out?" And I'm like, "Sure."
They threw 20 deals at
They
you.
threw 20 deals at
And you
me
had to
in just
learn
over a week.
you had to learn
And these loan officers
instantly.
didn't know how to calculate income. They were throwing me garbage. It was really stressful. I cried a lot. I took every cent of that commission and paid for a trip to California.
Yeah. But, like, that was the basis of you learning so
It
much
was actually
so
the
fast.
best thing that could have ever happened to me. Like,
Horrible at
even
the
though it
time.
was horrible at the time, it was so stressful. I learned so, so much in that first month that I had the confidence then to start being an LOA for you.
Right.
So that was awesome. And
And so
Illinois
Jessica really
was what it
becomes
was.
an expert at guidelines and income and the nuances of putting the loans together, and I could just hone in on marketing,
Mhm.
video, sales, and what's great is we could bounce things off of each other, so if guidelines or things change, then you let me know, and then, um
So I can like consult for the videos and stuff,
yeah,
but I'm
so we
not in.
just, like, make sure that everything's up to par base when the video is released to make sure nothing has changed at
Yep.
that point because we all know guidelines change all the time. Um, and then, yeah, we blew up, like,
Fast.
fast.
It was fast. We went from, I want to say that your first year, I mean, not like your first year, but I guess it would be your second year,
First full year.
first full year.
Did we do, like,
You
10
didn't,
million?
no,
Was it not? I thought we were at
not you. When before I came on, that
oh,
first year that you were like off on your own,
3, 4 million
it was
maybe?
3, 4 million. And then I joined on, and I want to say that first year that we did like 15 million or 17 million the first year that we teamed up together.
Yeah,
And we built a brand. We were
and it
hitting it
was
hard.
100% organic Facebook
Social media. Yeah. And it was,
because
yeah, not even Instagram then. It was all Facebook.
all Facebook people, like and we at the when we started, we did not know anybody that was in the market to buy a house really.
No.
But just by putting the content out consistently for about 12 months is when it started to pop off. And that 18 months, it was just like wildfire,
Yep.
like wildfire.
But it built a lot of trust with realtors. We got some realtor partners in at that time, and they all came from seeing the videos.
Yep. Or me teaching video
We're teaching
classes,
video classes, and
content classes. And so I think that's the thing is you just have to be consistent and be relevant long enough. And I mean, We still get crazy amount of calls today, even though Facebook isn't the same as it used to be, and I had to be on multiple channels. But
Yeah.
there's so many people that still see our stuff locally, like on our friends list or friends of friends, and either they say, "I've seen your stuff, I trust you," or my friend said, "You're the only person that we can work with."
Yep. But we worked really hard for that,
We work very hard for that
reputation
and taking care
and
of
the
people. Because
and it's
even in the
taking
gym
care of
world,
people and the
we were
brand, like
known for making things right, taking care of people. I think we only had one bad review in 10 years, and it was like not even a real bad. It was like she
I
she
know
w-
who it was. It was the crazy lady.
she was upset that she couldn't lose like 40 pounds in a month or something like that.
And you tell people
I was like,
all
that's
the
not
time that
that's
this
not
is
reality.
what it is.
You're gonna you can hurt yourself if you do that. And she did not like that answer.
No.
But that's a tangent. And so we applied that same thing to mortgage. Where like no matter what we have to do, we're gonna make every person happy working with us.
Yeah. Well, I think that the biggest thing that, for all these years that we've been in business, the highs and the lows, it has been the belief in ourselves and doing things, I guess, the right way with integrity, just, trying to always make it right
Yeah.
for our reputation. And you sleep better at night that way. This is a very stressful job.
Right.
But if you're doing the
And if you
piece
make a
that you
mistake,
can,
you own up to it and you
yes.
do whatever you have to do to fix it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
work overtime, you work, you know, bright early, late night, you pay money, you give people money to compensate for a
Yeah.
mistake you made. You do whatever it takes.
Yep.
I mean, we've cut checks even if it wasn't our fault. One time, I remember that. One time the escrow company just didn't pay for the homeowner's insurance
Yep.
premium. And so
Yep.
we just
We cut a check.
we just cut them a check for it and just say, "Hey, we apologize." And like nobody does that.
Nope.
But that's the reputation that we want to have.
Yeah.
Even if it's not our fault, we'll take responsibility and do what we can to make it best experience for that person.
Yep.
And then, yeah, that's kind of how it all went.
Now we're just riding the wave.
Yep. Now just like really doubling down on the content, and now we get to share that and be coached, like because we really love coaching. That's our
Yeah,
passion.
this is our passion. Both of us have. That's what we started out doing. That's why we went to college, was
Right.
for.
And that's why we made a decision. We can't do both things well.
Yeah.
So we're still generating content for mortgage. We're still generating leads, but we decided to hand that off to the team.
Yeah, we're still originating. It's just not. We're not going to do it at the capacity that we were doing it before. It's more for people that know us, that we know. Otherwise, we're going to hand it off, and that's to build this up because it
Yeah,
is
anything
really
that's not a
important to
direct
us.
referral from a friend or something like that, we're just going to have our team handle those so that we can focus 99% of our effort on the LO code, helping other people grow their business, learning from what we're learning. And then also like that's my full-time job is I just paid $5,000 for a TikTok coach.
God, I think
because
TikTok is the dumbest shit in the entire planet.
because I want to be as knowledgeable as I can and be up to date with what's working now and being able to pivot and teach people how to pivot because that's what we've learned. I try to do it
You
all.
have to, no matter where we've been in our life, that's actually probably the secret to our success is our ability to pivot because we both have shit attitudes half the time. We are not naturally positive people. We work really hard to be positive. It's
Right.
not just like, oh, we wake, oh, today's a great day, even though,
We have to make it a great day.
like, yeah, we make it a great day because you have no other choice. And
Right.
no matter what shit sandwich we've been handed, we have found a way to pivot, even though we might cry and drink ourselves out of it for a while.
But I think the biggest thing that I've learned from that is you cannot do it all. I tried to do it all and then you came on
Yeah.
and that really helped. And same thing with everybody watching or listening to this is if they're trying to wear all the hats,
Oh,
they're going to get hard stuck and they're going to get burnt out.
yeah. We're going to cover that on another one because I had the worst burnout of my entire life because I was trying to do everything myself after
Mhm.
having bad experiences hiring people. And I learned a lot of lessons.
Right.
And I mean, there a lot. I learned a lot of lessons. So we'll cover that one. In
And that,
another
I mean,
podcast.
and that's what our job is now with the LO code is to help people stay up to date and do as much for them as possible when it comes to marketing, sales, mindset, systems, just
All of it.
all of it.
Because it is a business. So even though we're not broker owners, we essentially have our own business under that umbrella and we take that very seriously. We
Right.
treat it as if it is a business.
And the
Um
one reason we decided to do it that way is so, like we said, it's diversifying the responsibilities.
yeah.
So it's the broker owner's responsibility to take care of compliance and take care of all the back end. It's our responsibility to market, to sell, to put the loan together, to make it go through. And for a lot of people, that is a fabulous way that of doing business, and then they can just stack on whatever services or employees they need to make their life easier to grow.
Yeah. Because like Andy does have LOAs and processors.
Yes,
I just chose to do that myself because I'm an
right.
idiot.
And so there's different models for every person, um, but grand scheme of things is we really on our end are focusing on teaching people how to
hmm
market, how to do video, help with sales, help with systems, just that whole part of the business that we've learned, and we just keep refining and pivoting, moving forward, making it
Yeah.
work.
Well, and that's where LO code comes from is like we feel like we've kind of cracked the code. We came into this new industry that we had no knowledge of and we spent a lot of money, we made a lot of mistakes and we failed our asses off and we learned and we pivoted and we became within our first year together, we became top 1% producers.
Right. And everybody
And
laughed at us in the beginning about video.
everybody,
Everybody.
oh my gosh. So when he
Why are
was
you
in
wasting your
retail,
time?
they're like, you need to be in the office. Those videos aren't going to do anything. You need to be grinding leads. And that was one of the catalysts to moving was
Right.
because they were essentially just laughing at him all the time.
Because the old school stuff still does work.
Yes. And we
But
do still do some of the old
and we'll
school
get
stuff.
into
Yeah,
those,
we'll get into that.
but it's all about finding the balance that best suits you and what you're good at and what's
Yes.
going to get you the even if you're not good at it, but if it can get you the best results now, you're not going to give up on what's gotten you there, but you're going to try some new things, get some new things out there. And that's I think that's the secret right now is a lot of people might be stuck in their ways, afraid of trying new things, and they're getting stuck. And I've heard of multiple people telling me that there's people been in this industry for 15 to 20 years that can't even get a deal right now.
Yes.
They like
Yep.
they've hit goose eggs multiple months in a row.
Yep.
And we don't want that.
No. And a lot of it is comfort zone. And we understand that just like in the gym, we're always trying to push people out of their comfort zone. But this is like one of the best examples. I cried every single time I shot a video
Mm.
for years. When it started at the gym, we started doing video at the gym and I had total bitch face just because that's what my face looks like. And I would just stand next to him like paralyzed. And then at some point, I wouldn't be able to remember what I was trying to say. And I would start bawling my eyes out. We would
I
have to
remember that.
shoot another day. When we first started mortgages, I still cried like all the time. I
Yep.
very rarely cry now.
Yes, very
And
rare.
it wasn't something that I was comfortable with. It's still not something that I love to do, but I know that it works. So I stick with it. I put myself out there and
Right. And we're going to get into a lot of this stuff into
yes.
more detail. This will probably be the longest episode that we'll
Yeah,
do,
we want all the rest of them to be like 15 minutes or
but
less.
we were trying to just cover the whole backstory. So I don't know. I think this is a good place to leave off the first one.
I think it is too.
So thanks for listening or watching the first episode of the LO Code podcast. And what questions do you have? Let us know. Go to the locode.com. So the locode.com. And that's how you can reach us, find all of our information, look at all of our stuff that we have, free stuff, paid stuff, whatever it is. So go to the locode.com and connect with us.
The LO code.
The. Bye now.